Matt here, Atlas Precision Consulting. In today's videos, we're going to cover the basics of purchase order entry, the manual way to enter a PO. Now, to start off with, I have a purchase location ID in here, and you have to start with a vendor ID first. Even if it's the same as the supplier ID, you need to enter the vendor ID first. If it is the same, it will just auto-populate the supplier and the division ID. If it's a vendor that has multiple suppliers, you will then also have to enter in the supplier ID. The buyer ID here is defaulted from my user maintenance. It is not necessarily who's placing the PO, it's just what buyer is assigned to my user. You can put an external PO number if there's another reference number that you want to be able to use this with. Typically if it's a direct ship that you've done through order entry, the customer's PO number gets carried over into the external PO number, but this could be used for a number of different things. You have a way to exclude from lead time. That way, if you know this is going to be something weird and you don't want it to mess with your lead times, you can obviously check that to exclude from lead time. You can also set up to auto voucher exception. If there's particular contact you want in there, you can put that in there. And then obviously we have all of our different dates. And then we can, once we're done, when we hit save, we can either print, fax, or email or EDI to our supplier/vendor. Up above will just be, the things like the vendor information, their terms, the supplier information. If you wanted to put some special instructions on there to show up, if you wanted them to use a particular carrier, that's where you could set that. PO notes, things like that. We won't go too deep into that. We've done some videos on notes before. After that, it's pretty basic. You come in here and you just enter in your IDs. Depending on how you have your vendor supplier pricing set up, will determine how it gets pulled in here. If you're using purchasing unit of measures, things like that, that will all automatically happen in here. I come in here and I'm going to order 1,000 of these. It's going to pull my unit price over and go from there. Now, I told you up here you can exclude the whole PO from lead time, but if there's one or two items that you only are that you're really concerned about, you can check those individual lines on there as well. And we've covered in previous videos how you can link sales orders to back orders, or excuse me, PO lines to back orders. So we won't go too deep into that. But really, that's it for a manual PO. I mean, obviously, there's other things you can do in here, like adding document links and commitment schedules. But we want to just kind of focus on the basics here. Now, you would literally just check print if you want to print a PDF of it, and you're going to manually enter it. Or if you want to email directly from the system, you can do that as well. Something else I wanted to show you, though, I'm going to clear this out. I'm going to start a new one. I want to show you what happens if you try to add an item that is not associated to a particular supplier ID. If I come in here and go to put that same bolt on here, it's going to tell me, hey, the supplier ID is not valid for this item location combination. So even if you have this item set up at a different location, if you don't have that set up in item maintenance, it's going to give you this warning. And the big problem with this, if you do say yes, which it will just let you order anything from any supplier vendor in the system. Obviously, it doesn't have any pricing to carry over, so it's just going to bring over $0, 0 unit price. So keep that in mind. So if your users are seeing that pop up, that most likely means somebody needs to go fix something in the actual item maintenance. It doesn't necessarily stop you from placing the PO, but you do need to make sure that you're paying attention to that unit pricing to get that set up, and then maybe send a note to your items team to get that handled so you don't have that problem in the future. If you guys have more questions about purchase orders or anything else in general, put a comment down below. Make sure you like and subscribe. And as always, Atlas is here for your P21 needs.